Hey, it's your boy Dre off the top here to say a couple things first. Number one, thanks for rating and reviewing us. We noticed that ever since we put out the call for more reviews and comments, we've actually been getting them. So please keep it up. We've been loving it and it's great. Again, if you listen on Apple Podcasts, just write like one sentence. Hey guys, keep it up. Great show. Something like that, along with your 5-star review, of course. If you listen on Spotify or YouTube, keep commenting on the individual episodes. We really appreciate it. It's been great. Also, don't forget to check us out on superpodnetwork.com, which is like a collection of great indie podcast shows, just like ours, talking video games. So go ahead and check that out as well. Secondly, Kevin is going to be out until probably late summer. We're thinking mid-September or so he'll be back. Don't worry, there's nothing bad going on. He's fine, and there's no weird drama or anything like that. He just needs a break. He needs to recharge his batteries. We usually do a recharge at the end of the year where we take like the last 4 to 6 weeks off and run a bunch of banked material, which we'll still do of this year, of course, and probably even longer this time. But Kevin needs to recharge right now. And we understand that. And Fine Time is a show that's built for that from the beginning, actually. Before we even did our first episode, we designed this from the ground up to allow for us to be as involved or not involved as we need to be, because life happens. And right now life is happening. So yeah, Kevin will be back sometime in the near future, which means you are stuck with me and Steve for a little bit here. So sorry about that, but I think we will soldier on pretty well. And with that, let's start the show.
Step into video game land. Welcome to Fine Time.
Hello, party people. It's your boy Dre. Hello, party person. It's my boy Steve.
I don't know why you have all this enthusiasm all of a sudden. It is too damn hot out.
I love this shit. I hate the cold. I love the heat.
Mr. West Coast with his, it's mostly mild all year round. Oh, look at those little snowflakes in the Nevada desert. Oh, how nice it is.
Oh, please. You've seen our snowstorms. Come on. They're pretty legit.
I don't know. They're more novel, I think, than anything.
You can fuck. I was going to say you can fuck right off, but I think I'll just leave it. You can fuck.
I don't see what that has to do with the weather, but okay. Hit up my DMs if you want to fuck.
Do you really want to fuck when it's hot out? I mean,
maybe not.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of matters. Winter is for fucking. That's why y'all like it so much. And I guess we're here to talk about video games per usual. I think that's what we do on Fine Time. Have we done that before?
That's what I usually do on Fine Time. That's what I was supposed to be doing on Fine Time. You should have corrected me. I don't know.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I just let you. Yeah, me and Kevin just like, does he know this isn't a video game podcast? No, it's fine. Just let him keep talking about this. It's okay. It's good material
for 60-something episodes, though.
Yeah, we didn't really. What's it called? Didn't want to burst your bubble.
No, I don't get it.
Jesus Christ. We're just trying to be nice, okay? Fine. Let's talk video games. I'm going to start. And what I played, well, I've been playing a lot. I've been finishing up Batten Kaitos. I did finish up Batten Kaitos. I started in on Batten Kaitos Origins, which, Steve, I forgot that's just called Batten Kaitos 2 in Japan. I completely forgot that. The intro, the animated intro just says Batten Kaitos 2. I guess they didn't want to change it because it's already hard-coded in there.
Huh.
But, yeah, it's weird. Anyway, that's a very strange game of which I will probably talk about sometime in the show because it's not the same thing at all, even though it is. It's a very weird sequel, and I'm not sure it's a better one, but it's weird. I want to talk about that sometime. But besides that, this past weekend, I played the beta period for Concord. We talked about Concord a few episodes, I think, ago now. It didn't debut at the last state of play we saw, but it's the first time we saw gameplay and we saw what the entire thing was about with the cutscenes and all that. And I remember you being pretty nonplussed. You don't really play games like that, but I do. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Well, you know me, especially now, it's like, come on, there's a whole lot of these. Do I really want to go to, one that's entirely in Connecticut too and just play shooty bang bang with specific people?
East Coast bias. Oh my God. This guy didn't even know there was a Concord, California until 2 seconds ago.
Okay. Well, when you're 8 years old and they drill into your head that the Revolutionary War started in Concord, Connecticut, that's going to be what sticks with you for the rest of your life instead of anything important.
Okay, you know what, Steve? Since you didn't know that, I'll admit something to the people too, okay? When I was a kid, when they talked about the witch trials, I thought that was Salem, Washington, not Salem, Massachusetts. I had no idea there was a Salem, Massachusetts. No clue.
I don't know why you would think the witch trials were much further away than the colonies.
I didn't even think about it that way, though. Kid brain, the Salem that you know.
Yeah.
And I knew that one. So that's my confession, okay, of East Coast, West Coast, same names of cities. Anyway, I played Concord on this beta period, and man, it was weird. So the thing that I don't know if we criticized it, but the thing that we thought was most notable about the state of play presentation was the cutscenes. They were showing these long ass cutscenes that were basically like Guardians of the Galaxy, like movie clips, but extended scenes. And you were like, what are these for? And I was trying to tell you, well, the reason why they're doing these is because this is what Overwatch did. They made big CG cutscenes online on YouTube, not necessarily in the game, but just for people to watch. And you could be like, oh, get some background on the characters. And I think that's what Concord is trying to do here. And I was hoping that when I actually played the game, these cutscenes would come off differently. But no, they're just fake Guardians of the Galaxy. And even though I'm a Marvel person, Guardians of the Galaxy isn't my favorite thing in the world. It's fine, but that's not something I'm gung-ho about. So these kind of cutscenes, not really for me. But that's neither here nor there. Man, I honestly don't even know where to begin. Let's just start with the gameplay of sorts, I guess, or maybe just map design, because the people who made this, Firewalk Studios, they're directed by some ex-Bungie people, and you can tell these map designs are very Destiny. And they're very cool, by the way. That is not a diss. Destiny, while, I'm not the biggest PvP head in that game, the map design was really cool, and the look of them was as good as the quote-unquote real game. And the work that went into that stuff is definitely the work being done in Concord. They look great and they play great. So they're good map designs. Character movement feels a bit slow, but that isn't a bad thing. It definitely doesn't feel as snappy as a Overwatch can. I think what they're trying to emphasize is the 5 main characters, if you will. They're very different. There's the fake, I use the fake Drax looking guy with the shotgun. His walk speed is very slow, and he moves slow too. He can run, but that's an ability, right? He can dash, but it's only for a short amount of time. It's the fat guy dash, I can run real fast for 15 seconds, but after that, fuck me.
But Andre, how about that frame rate, though?
Why are you asking me like that? I mean, because I get it. I know I talk about frame rate every fucking thing I play. I understand, but geez, it's 60. Okay. It's a flat 60. There's nothing to report there.
I guess, no, it just sounds like you're already kind of disappointed. Just that back when we were first talking about this, it looked like, you're on the outs with Overwatch and you're looking for something new. And this is already sounding like we're bro sharing an apartment. And you came back, this really might not work out between the two of us. And you're trying to rationalize why.
Yeah, well, Okay, well, let's get into the modes. That's the reason why you can feel the hesitation in my voice. It's because of the modes. So basically, all you can do when you first start this game is team deathmatch. That's it. Steve, I don't like deathmatch. I never have. Not since like the Quake days, not like Unreal, not Doom, anything. I've never liked that shit. That was the reason why I never played like first person shooters online until like Overwatch. Cause Call of Duty, I don't like deathmatch. But that's what you have to do for a long time because you have to get your player level to level 6 before you can do any other mode. So I get it. Maybe they want you to get used to just running around and shooting. And it doesn't take that long to get to level 6, at least not in this beta. It took like maybe an hour. But still, Steve, forcing you to play deathmatch, like, and that's one of the things that Overwatch does not do. You have to like specifically go to choose that, and that was not in the game to begin with. They added that shit like 2 years later, and you have to go to an entirely separate mode and specifically choose deathmatch to play that. That's not in the regular rotation of the game for a lot of reasons. But that seems to be the main thing to do here, and that's probably where a lot of my disappointment lies.
Given that we established that this does have a price tag, I think I'd be disappointed if I didn't get to play this beta and I was like, man, Concord, here we go. And it's just deathmatch like, Call of Duty is every fucking year.
Yeah, but they also have one variant where it's like I always call it the Stolen Valor mode. I don't know what it's actually called, but like the thing where you kill somebody and you have to pick up their little doodad. So your team gets points. So it's not just killing them. You have to pick up the doodad. And if you get killed, your team can pick up your doodad so they don't get a point. Like that variation. But other than that, it's still pretty much deathmatch until you get to level 6. And then you can choose another mode that's called Cargo Run, where it's like there's a thing in the middle of the field, both teams run towards it, and whoever grabs that thing, you can take it to point A or point B, plant it in a point, and then protect that point until it gets to 100%, and then you win the round. It's best of 9 rounds to do that. Yeah, 9. And here's the thing, and this is my biggest problem with the game. I'm leading to it. It's the fact that every time you die in team deathmatch, you have to choose your character again. Imagine if we were playing Overwatch and you literally get booted back to the character select screen every time you die. And you have to choose the character, you have to watch their animation, and they have their little quip, and then you're back in the game. Every single time you die. You die a lot in these games.
But yeah, no shit. I'd like to think in the full game that you could toggle that off, but I don't know.
I don't know, man. I looked all over the place. And it sucks. I don't know why. I get it. They're trying to encourage character swapping. Whereas in Overwatch, if you want to change your character after you die, you have to specifically hold circle or something on PlayStation. And then you go to the character select screen and then you pick somebody and then you're back in the game. You have to actually choose that. I think in this game, they're trying to encourage it by showing you the select screen every time. But I don't think that works because in all the matches I played, nobody ever switched characters. Everyone just kept picking the same person. So I don't think it's having the effect that they think it's going to have.
Maybe this is the sort of thing they'll look at now that the beta's wrapped up, and they'll be like, no one's really switching out characters. Maybe we need to just make this a player choice or whatever.
I really hope so. I mean, look, it comes out in a month. There's time to change that. And I don't think that would take too long to implement, but I feel like this is one of those things where they're kind of just in love with their design and this is the way it is. We're going to talk about something like that later, but for now, yeah, man, it's annoying. So here's the problem. In Cargo Run, everyone has to select one by one in an order that's predetermined by the computer. of your team of 5. So one person picks, okay, I'm second, I pick. Then the third person picks, and the fourth person picks, and the fifth person picks. Then we load the map again. Then we play cargo run for another like 60 seconds. Then guess what? We all have to pick a character again. They pick. This person picks, I pick, over and over and over again. You spend as much time or more picking characters than you do playing the game.
Are you picking different characters in that mode because you're on different points of the map, or are you just picking characters for the sake of it?
You're picking characters for the sake of it. I get it. Look, over a potential 9 rounds, you might want to swap out. Okay, they're kind of getting us this way. We don't have enough healing. I'll be healer. I get it. Right? I understand. But again, opt into that. Do you want to keep the same character, or do you want to switch characters or something? I don't understand why we have to do that. And we can't all pick at once. We all have to pick one by one by one. Yeah.
The waiting would kill me more than anything else.
It's obnoxious. I can't believe they designed a mode where you spend as much time or more picking characters than playing. It's crazy to me. And it gets old seeing the same voice line and animation every time. Like, it's painful, man. And so besides that, again, they're trying to do the Overwatch thing where they're doing character personalities and cutscenes and real characters, right? Here's the problem. There's a big disconnect between like the cutscenes and the game you're actually playing, Steve, because Overwatch has in-game chatter and voice lines between characters and the pertaining to the mode they're playing and what's going on in the game. Hey, we're losing. We need to catch up. Oh, that payload stopped. Let's get it moving. Oh, we're outnumbered. Let's not approach. Like all that type of stuff, like in-game stuff plus stuff between the characters. Like, yeah, if Farah kills Cassidy, she says a voice line to him, or like if Zenyatta kills Widowmaker, he has a voice line to her because Widowmaker killed his brother or something like that. Like there's stuff, there's lore, but you learn about it as you play the game. Right? And if Farah kills Widowmaker, she has a line. She says, like, don't mess with my family because Widowmaker killed one of her. Like there's stuff like that. That's not just cutscenes. Suffice it to say, Concord doesn't have anything like that. Like, they don't talk to each other in the game, no matter who you pick. There's no voice lines like that. There's just the overall narrator saying, this team's behind, or this team is almost won, and they barely say that stuff. Even in Destiny, Steve, where you create a character, where you make your own person, you have your own weapons, you bring him into the fight, that feels more personable than Concord. And you have an in-game character from Destiny narrating the action, almost like an esport practically. It's like an entire thing. It feels like something, right? It doesn't feel like Overwatch, but it feels like something. It feels like a lot more than Concord. I'll tell you that much. So like if they're going for this like character-driven cutscene every week kind of thing, you need to have it in the game too. It can't just be cutscenes that you watch.
Well, now I'm going to foreshadow something we're going to talk about soon. It just feels like all these games they're all kind of the same game, aren't they? But with a different skin on top. Like, here's all these modes, play these modes, but they all look sort of different. But you're just going to play this same game, but it just looks sort of different. And I can see why that's discouraging.
Yeah, and look, if you like deathmatch with a little flair, with some fun power-ups and character-specific abilities or whatever, you can get that from Concord. It's a lot less bread and butter than Call of Duty or something like that, right? So, like, you can get something out of this. It's only $40, so maybe it might be up someone's alley. It's just not up mine. And if you were looking for the next Overwatch, this is completely not it. So maybe, Steve, I'll have to look to Marvel Rivals if I can get into this beta this month to maybe scratch my Overwatch itch.
Plenty of fish in the sea, Andre.
Fine time.
All right, guys. I thought this time I would make good by actually talking about a game that we talked about before in a thing. You know, how we'll talk about a thing on a show like, man, I can't wait till this comes out so I can play. Well, guess what? I did that this time in Arzette, the Jewel of Faramore. Steve, what the hell was that? This was at last year's LRG3. It's the it was the fake Zelda CDI game that they were trying to make look better. And I'm trying very hard not to call it Arzette, because more than a few conversations I've had with the Poke Pals, I've called it Arzette, the Jewel of Faramore. So I'm just going to get this out of my system now. Arzette, 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 Arzette. Okay.
I keep wanting to do that too. It keeps creeping into my mouth, but I will try not to as well.
It really doesn't deserve it, because what is it? It's as loving a tribute to the Zelda CDI games one could possibly make. This does...
Hold on. I want you to hear what you just said. Loving tribute, Zelda CDI.
Yeah.
Loving tribute, Zelda CDI. I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting those two things in the same sentence.
Oh, no, neither was I. And even when I did my final grade on Blue Sky, I even wrote they had a very misguided vision that they saw through. But this very much means this does not turn into a artsy Zelda 2. This means it is the crummy thing with a lot of the kinks ironed out, while still maintaining the look and presentation as best as it can. What do I mean by that? Because if you've been online for any length of time, you have seen those cutscenes. And that spirit is carried over to Arzette. The animation is off-putting and choppy. The voice acting is deliberately overwrought. It's not very good. It's not supposed to be. But you find yourself watching because you want to see what the hell they're doing. Also because they do dole out hints and things along the way. It's actually helpful in this game, unlike the other ones where they just zoom in and go, bring me a soul. Sadly, they lost the plot for this along the way, because there's like optional, I guess, inventory expansions and things, and with upgrade quests. And when you talk with these people, you stab them with your sword, just like in those games and sort of Zelda 2. They call it the smart sword because, yes, you stab them with the sword and it doesn't kill them. It just starts these conversations. And it just zooms in with a text box. Clearly, they didn't do all this in order.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing about those cutscenes from those CDI games is the amount of lore they stuffed into the dialogue, because clearly somebody was reading the Zelda manual. Octorok, okay, you will get eaten by 1,000 Octoroks, or something. They kept shoving in like all the Zelda names of stuff. I can't wait to beat some Dodongos and shit like that. It's like, come on. What are you doing? Anyway,
actually playing the game is very satisfying. You play side-scrolling Zelda 2 style, and unlike the Zelda ZDI games, I've only played one at a play and trade for like maybe 20 minutes. Remember play and trade?
Barely.
Yeah, barely. Arzette does control the way about the way you think she should. The sword swings when you push the button, for instance.
That's an improvement.
Items do the thing that they say they're going to do. And levels still have that, painted storybook look, but they actually function like levels in a video game do. And like I said, yes, you do need to stab people and items in order to interact with them, but you don't have to necessarily do that with every item like in the CDI games, like where they made you stab every ruby. Yes, not rupee, ruby. A tradition that they did bring into Arzette. Your money is rubies. You can just walk up to them, but if it's just out of reach, you can stab it too. It's not that monotonous.
I always think of that as like a Zelda 2 thing. I understand like people make fun of the CDI games for that, but you do that in Zelda 2. You stab the key to pick it up, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, but in Zelda CDI, it was the only way to pick things up.
That's right. Yeah, you had to pick up everything that way.
Every single thing. But yeah, like I keep saying, this is a CDI tribute. Which means it's going to still come with its own foibles. The music is reminiscent of those games. Last week we put up our Willow episode, and I brought up that you sort of need that sweeping orchestra in your fantasy thing. Here we get a soundtrack that would have probably put Red Book through its paces, but this is very not high fantasy at all. Like, it's very Zelda goes jazzercising in a way.
Yeah, that's what those CDI games sounded like, and that music is good. I did like that shit. So, but I like that 90 CD-ROM shit. So
I'm just telling you, they really went in on this. The sound effects are also very stock from the 90s as well. All of the enemies killed get that adjacent sound effect from the 90s as well. I kind of wish they had an item wheel similar to early Zeldas. You can only have one item besides your sword equipped at a time, and sometimes pausing, changing to another item, and then opening again isn't the most fun. But, I guess, Faces of Evil and Wand of Gamelon did it, so we gotta do it here too. Right, guys?
I don't know. How much time do you spend looking at like that screen in Link's Awakening? Oh, I gotta put on the rock feather again. No, I gotta, it's just kind of an old Zelda thing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes with what they're doing. I mean, there's also bonus rooms that give you things, and one of them is they literally stole from Hotel Mario, close all the doors. I'm like, okay, we know what this is. Ha ha, CDI. We get it.
Ha ha. Har.
Honestly, it's not that long at all. You'll be revisiting areas again and again because abilities you find make it necessary, but no one area is super huge. So unlike Balan Wonderworld, where I did complain that we had to revisit shit again and again and again, it doesn't feel that bad because you do have the fun music playing in the background, and it's satisfying to play the game and kill stuff and whatever else. So it was a lot of fun. In the end, the game clocked me at just over 5 hours, and that was me trying to find everything. If this was something you were vaguely curious about, you're probably going to like it. I kind of want another one of these. They did tease another one of these in the credits, so I think it might be coming. We'll see. I like this game.
Yeah, you've actually kind of sold me. I was kind of sold on the concept to begin with, but now that I know it actually plays well, and 5 hours feels like the correct amount of time to be playing something like that. Because I think the CDI games were much longer than that. Yeah, probably a lot of it was just fighting with the game, getting it to work. But,
Well, you're also playing with a real controller, too. Those CDI controllers were ridiculous. They limited run, sold, authentic CD controllers that you plug into the USB port if you really wanted to play, the garbage way. But,
I think I've mentioned this before. My friend's grandma had a CDI.
You might have mentioned this to me, yeah.
Yeah, and she had the little remote. She didn't have a joystick or anything. So obviously, I didn't play video games. But she had all the educational shit. She didn't have any Hotel Mario or anything like that. It was all what's the one everyone always makes fun of? The Flowers of Robert Mapplethorpe
yep.
or whatever. Yeah, there was some shit like that. She had all that shit, all the museum shit, which,
That's what that's for, yeah.
Yeah, that's what that's for. And I wondered how she got roped into getting one. I never really asked. You know what? Now, as I said that, it just came to me. I know she still, in her old age, worked part-time at Sears. Maybe.
You know what might have did it? I think a lot of these CD things came with encyclopedias, and they might have got roped into that because, educational for the children.
Yeah, maybe that was it. I can't think of any other. I mean, that has to be it. Anyway, that's it for the video games for now. We will be back with a bevy of big questions. I mean, look, it's just the two of us. I know Kevin's always the shower monger around here. You just want to take a shower for him? Pretend he's here?
All right. Well, not memorial shower, but, we'll do a shower without him today.
You could try to sound more excited. I mean, you could at least pretend you want to take a shower with me.
No.
Wow.
It's time to hit the showers. We'll be right back on Fine Time.
All right, guys, we're back. You know what? You know what Steve did in the shower? He faced away from me the whole time. Didn't even want to look at me. Our butts touched. It was weird. It was cheek to cheek.
I had a lot on my mind. And then a lot more on my ass.
I don't think either of us have small asses, so there probably was a lot of ass on your ass.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
What happened to shower thoughts? Those are only alone? You can't share them with somebody else?
I don't think anyone needs to hear these shower thoughts.
All right. Well, people need to hear these big questions. Guys, there's a bunch of just little shitters, shall we say, little shitters that came out, or it's like, man, we need to talk about this and this and this and this and this. So we're just going to go through them all.
Yeah, this was a big stark departure from Andre. We're going to be fucked after this week.
Yeah. Oh my God. Some of these weeks. Oh Lord. The one after Summer Games Fest. Let me tell you guys, the audience, we were like, God, I have no idea what we're going to talk about. We were scrambling. We made it work because that's fine time, right? But we're not scrambling this time. And we have a lot we want to get to. So let's get to it right now. Capcom announced that the next Exoprimal update would be its last, and the previous seasons will just loop from now until infinity. So essentially, new content for the game is over, the game is staying online, and the content will just loop. And I think we need to pour one out for this game, Steve, because our show was heavily invested in Exoprimal from the second they showed it. I think it was at a State of Play maybe a little over 2 years ago. And we were like, yo, this looks like the best thing ever. A portal opened up from the sky. Thousands of dinosaurs poured out from that portal. And it just looked like mayhem. It looked like absolute chaos of just a team of people shooting dinosaurs. And look, okay, yeah, I was more invested than you and definitely more invested than Kevin. But Steve, we were all rooting for this game big time.
I would say we were all rooting for this game. And then the beta came out and...
Then we found out what you actually do in the game, and so for those who don't know, and I'm gonna try my best here to describe what Dino Survival Mode is. Okay, and I know it's gonna sound confusing, but I think it's important for anyone who has never tried this game to understand what we're dealing with here. So it's a 5v5 game. It's a what's our favorite thing to say? PvP. Yeah, it's one of those games where you play against the dinos, the computer, if you will, the environment, as well as other players. So here's what happens. 2 teams of 5, you're trying to get through this sort of predetermined series of events as fast as you can. And there's this overarching guy over saying, like, you were slower than the enemy team. Right now, you're doing faster than the enemy team. Here are more raptors. Here are more triceratops. Here comes a T-Rex. Like, he's announcing, like, everything. It's pretty funny. I like the announcer, right? The problem is, it never really delivers on that promise very much of, like, here is, like hundreds of dinosaurs for you to shoot. It never really felt like that many were on screen, Steve. It never felt like a horde. Did it?
It never felt like a horde. What did show up never felt especially threatening. I was never really clear on what I was doing that was making me better or worse than the other team that we didn't see until toward the end.
Yeah, I know. It never, you know what it needed to be like? You know those shitty like fake mobile game ads where it's like, here are all the zombies and I'm shooting the gun numbers with the barrels and putting up barriers. It needed to be like that amount of dinosaurs. That would have been cool. So anyway, that's not really what the game is. After you do as much dino shooting as they let you, all of that being behind or slow or whatever doesn't matter, because all of a sudden you teleport somewhere else and you get thrown into a PvP scenario with the other team of 5 that you were racing against, and you have to do a particular thing. Sometimes detonate a bomb, sometimes steal a thing. I don't know. It's like a weird mode, and it didn't really make any sense. You could shoot the other players, but there's also still dinosaurs to contend with. Steve, there was a power-up that lets us turn into a T-Rex. Do you remember that? You could break this thing and then you turn into a dinosaur to go fuck up the enemy team, but that was also very unclear.
And not very fun to use.
Yeah, not very fun to use. I made the dumbass mistake of getting the dinosaur transforming thing, running over to the enemy team and using it, which didn't work because they killed me before I transformed. What I didn't realize, and what the game doesn't tell you, is that when you use the dinosaur transform, you automatically teleport over to the enemy team. Automatically. I didn't need to run over there. But I didn't know that.
Why would you?
Yeah, why would I? So poorly messaged, not very fun PvP mode tacked onto the end of a PvE mode that already wasn't really that fun. So it's kind of a mess. And after the initial beta, all the feedback to Capcom was basically, hey, we don't want to fight against other people. We just want to shoot dinosaurs. That was what everybody said in the survey.
That's what I said in the survey.
Yeah, and Capcom was like, okay, we'll make it so you don't have to fight other people. There will be a mode where you can do that. And then they had a second beta and you couldn't do that. It was exactly the same.
I missed that second beta, so holy shit.
Yeah, I didn't even tell you about it because I was like, you know what? Actually, I probably did. I was like, I'll suss out what's happening here. And if I think you need to play it, then I'll tell you to play it. And I probably just never told you to play it. It's probably what happened. So anyway, all of that is to say, this game came out and satisfied nobody. And that's kind of what I want to ask you right now, is that I feel like Exoprimal, they tried to sell a game nobody actually wanted. And I talked about that a little bit when I talked about Concord earlier. It's like, I feel like this is a game nobody actually asked for. That's how I feel about Exoprimal. What do you think about that notion? This is just a game where they got too caught up in the thing they were making and forgot to think, oh, maybe this isn't what actually sells people.
Yeah. Again, I'm a little fuzzy here, but if memory serves, there was something like almost a year from the time when they showed that first, again, I need to emphasize, incredible trailer where we kept shooting all the dinosaurs. And then from there to the time where they actually elaborated on with the beta on what an Exoprimal was actually going to be. This gave us, and especially Andre, way too much time to go, oh man, oh man, oh man, can't wait to shoot all these dinosaurs in the face online with my friends. Before they finally came out with, well, guys, this is actually Overwatch with dinosaurs. Please don't be mad.
I wish it were that.
It also didn't help that they also decided to partake in one of our show's other favorite pastimes and showed us a whole other chart saying, you know, the stuff buying chart. Okay, here's what you need to buy if you want shit in your game on top of the near full retail asking price.
$60. It was a $60 game with full ass season battle passes of like, here's all the shit.
I know I wasn't as enthusiastic with you, but I was pretty like set on, yeah, I'm going to buy this sometime during the summer or whenever this comes out. I don't think I ever lost enthusiasm for a thing so fast as this when that happened. All this shit happened.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I think Capcom knew what they were doing because they released this like a month after Street Fighter 6. I think they knew.
Yeah.
because I'm not saying they completely tried to bury it. I understand Street Fighter 6 and Exoprimal were two totally different kinds of games. At the same time, it's like, I don't think they would have put Street Fighter 6 and Dragon's Dogma 2 back-to-back months. But yeah, just going back to vision versus what the people actually want, I think that's always the key here. And I think developers have gotten better at realizing, hey, do people actually want this? And I guess the ultimate example for us Nintendo people is always Metroid Federation Force, right? It doesn't even matter how good or bad that game is. That is not what people wanted at all. And people were loud and vocal about it. And it sucks that maybe like a game that maybe was good or bad. I've never played Federation Force, nor do I care. But it doesn't even matter if it was good or bad. It just wasn't what people wanted. This dino survival thing, I'm sure it appeals to a lot of people. It wasn't what people wanted. People wanted Earth Defense Force. Am I wrong? That's what I wanted. I think that's what you wanted too.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if being upfront about the whole thing would have been the way to solve this either, because I keep harping about hero shooter fatigue. But, they showed us that first trailer and we got very excited about it. And then it unfolded into this. And then they did the other thing all these games do it. It's collabs with things that they do in Capcom. Oh man, here's the Street Fighter collab with Cyber Guile. Like, how 2005 is that? That's not exciting. I just want to go online and shoot the fucking dinosaurs with friends or strangers.
I mean, yeah, it's so easy. I think that's what bugs us the most about this game. They fumbled the bag of the easiest sell concept of all time. Shoot a bunch of dinosaurs online. That's all we wanted to do.
I've been over this. Capcom already has the Thinking Man's version of this with Monster Hunter, which I'm pretty sure also has a collab with this game.
Yep.
There could have been room for the EDF version of this concept. Just not like this. What was this? I'm just miserable. Just sad.
It sucks, man. Look, okay, I just thought of this. Here's my cope right now. Okay, here's my cope. They can re-trigger this game. They can reuse this game to make the EDF that we want. They can take all the stages from this game, because you know how EDF works. They reuse all the buildings and here's another cave, here's another cityscape, here's another green countryside, right? They just recycle those for like 78 levels and then call it a day. And we love it. Okay? We love it. I think they could do that for Exoprimal. They have all the assets. Just give us the EDF that we want.
Look, they could do that, and maybe they will, like, after this dies down a bit, but right now, Capcom just needs to weather this dino crisis as is.
It didn't help that they had not Regina in, like, the initial trailer. It really didn't help.
She was there.
Fine time.
So, Andre, you ever play Kirby's Block Ball?
I have.
Or Yoshi's Cookie?
I have.
NES Play Action Football?
Yeah, I love that game.
Metal Gear Ghost Babble?
Nope, but I know of it.
Game & Watch Gallery series?
Hours and hours of fun.
You've all heard of these at home or, seen them somewhere, but you may or may not have known that they were all ghost developed by a company called TOSE. They're a name we love around here on Fine Time. Unfortunately, TOSE's hit a bit of a financial snag lately as they posted a recent 9-month loss of 367 million yen, around $2.28 million, citing projects that they were hired on for being canceled. Now, considering that they recently worked on things like the newest Dragon Quest monsters and the port of Crisis Core, this is definitely related to Square Enix's, looming story of oh, we need to change everything that we've been over, right? Because they're a very big client of theirs.
I would like to think so. Because as you just said, Square's done with them little shits, which makes me very worried still. They said, oh, we're just going to focus on Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest and whatever. But like, yeah, I'm sure that means that TOSE got the boot. What if they were making a new Chocobo Mystery Dungeon? What if they were making a new whatever, right? Like, I'm sure that's now like not in the cards. So yeah, how could they do this to TOSE? We love TOSE around here. We're protect TOSE at all costs.
You know, I don't think it's all doom and gloom for them. This isn't, a good thing. Obviously, it's never good to lose that much money in a short period of time, but their name pops up in more credits lists more often than before. A good chunk of the time you still have to look for them, but they're not as ghost of a ghost developer as they were. And I'm sure that meant their development costs rised a little with that, but Nintendo's another big client for them, and I am sure that soon enough they'll overcome this rocky time, and we'll see them back at what they do when the new system drops. Not seeing them very well until we get to the end of whatever we've been playing. Maybe Mole Mania Deluxe. That sounds like something we'd assign TOSE to.
Hell, would you be surprised if they made the first one? Because I wouldn't. I wouldn't at all.
I'm sure. The Starfy games just popped up the other week. I'm sure that was them doing some good faith money. Like we know. But
we need it. That's like a paycheck advance from Nintendo, putting the Starfy games up. Didn't they make Nuts and Milk?
Yes. Well, yeah. Allegedly. We don't officially know that, but it's all but confirmed. But yeah.
Yeah, all but confirmed. Yeah, maybe Hudson Soft now Konami can be like, they can approach them. It's like, hey, how about that Nuts and Milk 2? You were looking for like some indie developers a couple years ago, right? Let's.
So a week ago, as of when we're recording this, Nintendo drops off a tweet and a teaser trailer that just asked everybody on the internet, "Who is Emio?" Andre, this was not a very Nintendo teaser in the best M-rated way possible, leading plenty of us to speculate what the hell Nintendo's got planned, especially since we just had a Nintendo Direct a short while ago, and M-rated games aren't usually shunned at those. So
unless they're the fractured butthole. The fractured butthole. You remember that?
If you weren't going to bring it up, I was. So based on that, what did you think this Emio thing was going to be?
We were really intrigued. I remember you sent this to me at 6 a.m. my time, kind of right before I'm like, if I'm up too late and I still haven't gone to bed yet. And you were like, oh, what is this? And I looked at it, I was like, bro, I don't know. And we knew it was a game because I had a ESRB M in the corner of the thing. So we knew it wasn't just some weird shit. It was an actual game. I read the kanji the best I could, and it said the smiling man. And based on that, I just thought it was like some Fatal Frame thing. I don't know. I just assumed they were publishing some like thing for Tecmo or some other company that's making a game like that. And they were just Nintendo was promoting it because they're publishing it. So I just thought it was that, really. Fatal Frame or something like it.
Well, you were sort of right with your Japanese reading, and I had no idea what to expect because today, and while we were recording this, who Emio was revealed. Kinda. Yoshio Sakamoto, longtime Nintendo person who really doesn't need to be doing this shit anymore, came on with a trailer to reveal Emio, the smiling man, Famicom Detective Club. A brand new entry in the series that recently saw remakes on Switch and outside Japan for the first time. We played them on a previous creative endeavor.
Sure did.
And it's coming real fucking soon, August 29th.
Oh, the same day as Visions of Mana. Thanks, guys, for leaving me no room.
I'm just going to ask you, Audrey, a new Famicom Detective Club game in 2024 with the original guy on the how fucking lucky are we?
Yoshio Sakamoto is incredible, man. Like, it's like you said, he doesn't need to be out here doing this shit. He did Metroid Dread a few years ago, and he was so excited about the game like it was his first one. And he worked on the Famicom Detective Club remakes in 2021 himself. He doesn't need to be doing that either, but he wants to. He is incredible. Man, the passion that guy has still. He could have the Takashi Tezuka role or Shigeru Miyamoto role. Nintendo would just kind of sit back and do whatever, which, again, perfectly fine. He's earned it. He can sit back and collect a paycheck like those guys. And I'm not saying those guys don't do anything at Nintendo. Obviously, Tezuka does like Super Mario Maker and stuff because he loves Mario, right? But at the same time, Sakamoto could be working a lot less, and he's not. And the passion is showing in projects like these. A new Famicom Detective Club, man. Jesus Christ. And we speculated at the time, if you remember, after we played through both of them, we were like, does this mean this is a thing now? And I said, I don't really think so. But here we are. I'm wrong. Fuck, I was wrong.
What I found interesting was that they put emphasis, and I had to look this up. There's more emphasis on the Emio the Smiling Man more than the Famicom Detective Club, because when you look at the other two remake logos, there's more emphasis on that than the other thing. I think they're really trying to lean into what the game's about for, especially now that it's rated M and they're basing it off of a myth that they invented.
Can we talk about the rating, though, a little bit? Because I did some research, and I think that this rated M might be a soft M, almost like our favorite example, Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies. The fifth Phoenix Wright game here got rated mature because of some blood and a couple of other things that they couldn't really work around, Capcom, without changing the game. So it kind of just had to be rated M here. Here's the thing. I went back and looked at what that game is rated in Japan, Dual Destinies. It's rated Zero C, which means 15 plus. Okay. The next game, Spirit of Justice, it's rated Zero B. So it does have a lesser rating. However, I went back to Apollo Justice. That shit is rated Zero A, all ages. Okay. So it's kind of weird, right? Maybe what I understand, different countries, different rating systems, they rate stuff based on the what shall we say, that particular society might find objectionable or squeamish or whatever, right? And I understand, but it's weird that all those games have different ratings. Here's what I also looked up. Emio the Smiling Man in Japan is rated Zero C. Guess what? The remakes of those two Famicom Detective Club games in 2021, those are also rated Zero C. So maybe this is just an edge case for the ESRB where they're like, okay, there's just something in here that goes over.
Look, I'm just happy for more Famicom Detective Club. I had a blast with those a few years ago. They could be tea like the other ones, and I'd still be here for it in August.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that, like, I think it's very interesting that they're marketing it like a horror movie almost. Not even a game, but just like, who is it? Who is Emio? I just think that's like, it's kind of wild.
There's a whole series I was playing. No, not series. It's more like just two games. Oh God, I already forgot the name of it. That they might be borrowing from a smidge. I'll find out when I play it. We'll see what the heck's going on in a month.
All right. So typically, Steve, on this show, we try to parse stuff in a way that makes more sense than this. But in the interest of comedy, I'm going to just read this tweet from Wario64 verbatim because it's funnier that way. It'll be confusing, but it'll be funny. And actually, before I do that, let's play a little game, shall we? Little miniature game. I want you to name the different Xbox / Game Pass subscription tiers. I want to see if you can name them. How many can you get?
That exist right now or the ones that are coming? Just kidding.
Both.
I'm not going to get either one.
Both.
Let's see. We got Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Gold.
I think you're overdue so far.
Yeah.
What's the top one called? What's the big one called?
Oh man, what is the top one called? Isn't that one Game Pass Premium? No,
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You're gonna ask me that and not have the answer ready?
Well, I don't want to look. I don't want to spoil. I mean, like, I don't have them all like on the top of my head.
It got really weird when they started splitting it up into Game Pass for PC. Does that still exist?
Yes. See, we'll take that one. PC Game Pass.
Like what, I don't know how this is such a popular service. How does anyone buy into it?
I don't know.
Physically buy into it.
Do not know. Okay, so I'm just gonna read. Okay, fuck that. We can't name any. Let me just read the tweet. Okay. New Xbox Game Pass changes. The tweet reads: Xbox Game Pass Ultimate price increase to $19.99 per month. PC Game Pass price increase to $11.99 per month. Xbox Game Pass Core annual increase to $74.99. Xbox Game Pass console will be shuttered for new users only. Current subscribers will be allowed to maintain their sub. New Xbox Game Pass standard tier launching in September includes Xbox back catalog, but does not include day one games. Priced $14.99 per month, includes Xbox Live Gold, but will not include Xbox Cloud Gaming. Steve, what the motherfuck did I just read? What is this?
Wait, hang on. I'm still on. No, I'm just kidding. But what the hell did you just read?
By the way, okay, so here's what I can parse, okay? I'm going to try my best here. Xbox Game Pass Core was what Xbox Live Gold was called before. I think that's that tier. Because that used to be just like, I want to play online, I don't give a fuck about anything else. That used to be $60 a month, like PlayStation Plus or whatever. Now that's increasing to $75 a month, that basic bitch tier. I think that's what that is. He's staring at me like...
Because it shouldn't be this hard. As much as we make fun of Royale with cheese, there's 3 tiers and you pick one of them.
Yeah, and it's very and when you go to the store, it's very clear which tier is which. Okay, you get this, extra, or premium, right? But Jesus. Okay, and the other thing I've been able to parse, I think, is that the old Xbox Game Pass tier that they're closing, that you can keep if you still have an active subscription to it, this new Xbox Game Pass standard does not include Game Pass.
What?
Like day one games.
Oh.
Yes, the tier called Game Pass Standard does not include Game Pass. You're not going to get to play like Call of Duty or Avowed or whatever day one. That's the big thing, but they're charging you more for it. It's $14.99 now. But you don't get that stuff. You have to get Game Pass Ultimate. PC Game Pass still has day one games. You can still get it there. Mm-hmm. But that's $11.99. What the hell is going on?
I guess they finally caught on to what everyone else did a long time ago. Why buy games if we can just get them day one on Game Pass? But
well, see, that's the question, right? I mentioned Call of Duty. That's the reason, right? They're not doing day one releases anymore because of Call of Duty. That has to be it.
I think that is the main crutch behind it, yes.
And we said for a long time, like, how can they actually do that? At some point, something has to give. They can't keep giving away everything. They're going, like you said, they're going to have to claw this back. This is the beginning. Charge more, get less.
And I don't think Kevin's going to be able to do his Totino's Pizza Roll infinite Game Pass glitch anymore either.
Yeah. Oh, they actually had language about that in the official documents. It says you can only stack up to like 13 months now of that old tier. So no, he can't do that and he won't get day one games anyway. So fuck him. Right. So like, oh, man.
I mean, it's Prime Day while we're recording this, and one of the things they tried selling me today was, look, you can get the 4K Fire Stick and an Xbox controller, and you could play Game Pass things on the cloud without an Xbox.
But not if you have Game Pass Standard or whatever, because apparently that doesn't include that. You better have some other tier.
What are they doing over there?
The absurdity, the absolute absurdity of having a tier called Game Pass with Game Pass in the title that doesn't actually include Game Pass. That's crazy to me. Crazy ass moments in Microsoft history or some account.
Somehow I knew this was never going to work out when Halo wasn't going to be ready at launch.
Oh, yeah, and it was like on the box, like really on the box too. Not just on the back of the box in a picture like Donkey Kong Racing or something on Cube. This was like the box.
It just went downhill from there. All right, let's keep talking about Xbox for another minute, because the 3 people with 5,000 accounts, because they said a thing online, Guerrilla Games has now made a statement regarding why LEGO Horizon Adventures will be skipping the Xbox. James Windler, I hope that's how it's said, stated, "Right now, we're just very much focused on pushing this hardware to its limits and making this game look as amazing as it possibly can on this hardware." Continuing, we don't really have anything to announce about Xbox right now. Andre, you might remember that LEGO Horizon Adventures is also releasing on the Nintendo Switch day and date with the PS5 version.
Yeah, because they don't want to put their fucking games on Xbox. I don't understand why people don't get that. Sony doesn't want a Horizon game on Xbox. That's it. We understand that, like, Mr. James here can't outright say that. But, like, come on. It's just crazy to me, man. Why do people, who cares? You're telling me, like, all those Xbox, those 3 people with 5,000 accounts don't have a PS5 or a Switch? Please. Yes, they do. I understand if you only have a Switch and you don't have a PS5, you'd be playing the crappy version. But, like, if you really want to, I don't know. It's there.
I just found this to be a bizarre thing to say in the first place. Like, we know the Switch version's coming. What hardware are we really pushing with a LEGO game?
Not much. I don't think they've really tried. I mean, like, a lot of those, like, old Star Wars ones and stuff from, like, the late 2000s, those still came out on, like, PS2 and Wii and shit, right? So, like, it's Legos. I don't think they ever really push any tech. I played them on 360, so they'd be 60 frames a second. But, like, other than that, like, I don't think the tykes who are, like, in the market for this really care about that for Switch. Unless this Horizon Lego game is also, like, rated teen or something, which I guess would be weird, but... All right, Steve, something near and dear to our hearts. There is a new Double Dragon on the way. Because Arc System Works announced that they are making a brand new 3D graphics Double Dragon game, the latest issue of Famitsu revealed. And I'll just read the rest of the details now straight from Gamatsu. And I quote, "According to the magazine, the new game faithfully reproduces the thrill of old-school side-scrolling action games with updated control and difficulty settings for the modern era, and utilizing Arc System Works' fighting game development experience. Jimmy Lee, Billy Lee, Roper, Abobo, and more will appear in stylish 3D." End quote. But a couple days after this, Steve, Arc System Works released an announcement trailer that didn't really show any gameplay, but gave like a pretty good glimpse at the graphics and a couple quick cuts of some fancy moves, as well as a hot new rendition of the Double Dragon theme. Can we start there? That was a good version, right?
It was.
All right. Okay. That's always going to give me, folks. You hear that tone of voice? We're about to be in for disappointment train is pulling into the station. So, okay, let's get right to it, Steve. You go first. Were you encouraged by that trailer? Do you believe this is going to work out? I feel like the answer is no, but...
Okay, you know what? I've had a bizarre week with Double Dragon Revive.
That's what it's called, Revive?
I think that's what I've been seeing online.
Okay.
And, you know, that's how many of my stories that start with Andre texted this to me at 3 a.m. begin with. I was not kind to the screenshots at all, but I did have more faith in that 50-second trailer.
Okay.
I hope this is good.
I really want it to be. When's the last time one was good? And if someone says Double Dragon Neon, I'm gonna fucking scream.
Look, I know you like to pick on WayForward on this show, and lately I have been too, especially since the Advance Wars debacle, but what the hell was Double Dragon 4? And
Double Dragon 4 sucks.
I mean, it was overwhelmingly okay, and that's the worst thing a Double Dragon game could be. And I've already covered Stay Cool Kobayashi-san on this show a very long time ago. So my point with that is that it's not just WayForward. Literally, it's equal opportunity that anyone can fuck up any of this shit if they just believe.
Yeah. If you just believe hard enough, you too can fuck it up.
I would prefer they didn't fuck it up. I would prefer that this game is good.
I would prefer it is too. However, I personally have been really harsh on Arc System Works' handling of the Technos properties that they've acquired since that company went down. Both Double Dragon and Kunio-kun. Okay? And like you said, that includes letting WayForward do whatever the fuck they want with reckless abandon, which I have not liked. However, it's like you said, yeah, fuck me. I think I'm in. That trailer convinced me. It's being developed by Ukes. Remember Ukes, the guys who made all like the wrestling games, N64 wrestling.
For me, that's one of those I haven't heard that name in years companies.
It's been 84 years or whatever the gif is. Yeah, it's like I hope the talent is still there at that company to do something good with a beat 'em up. But like, it's like I said, there hasn't been a good Double Dragon since like Super Double Dragon. Like, let's face it. And so Arc System Works has done enough damage already. I want a real Double Dragon this time, and maybe it's about high time I get one. That trailer was encouraging, and unlike you, I was not turned off by the screenshots. I just thought it looked very like PS2 style, just kind of like flat and maybe a bit bland. But Steve, I'll take it over anything they've been doing lately.
See, that was my problem, and I'll give full disclosure to the listeners. I told Andre that without it saying Double Dragon on there, that those screenshots could have been for Fighting Force Revive.
That's so
for
rude.
All I know.
Come on. That's too far. Please.
That was just the kind of mood I was in that morning, where I was going to invoke the game Andre did not like the week before.
Oh man, that's too much for me. But yeah, I'm fuck me. I'm here for it. I'm
be
ready to
for
be
the
disappointed.
love of God, please be good.
For once. All right, Steve. Let me ask you a question here. And obviously, there's no. I mean, yes, there is technically a right and wrong answer, but don't worry too much about like nailing this. This is just more of a thought experiment. So you know how Apple loves to show off their new devices at their conferences, whether it's iPad or iPhone or whatever. They like to put like some big name game on it. Hey, you can play Resident Evil 4 on your iPad Pro 7 or whatever, right? Like you've seen that shit, right? You can play this or that AAA gaming on the go. Have you ever really given any thought, though, to how many people play those things on mobile? Because I haven't until I saw a recent article about it that revealed some sales figures and stuff. So let's just start there. how do you think these games actually do on iOS and maybe Android if they're there?
I will admit that I have a Google Play Pass subscription because it's only $5 a month and they give me 5 Pokemon Go dollars along with it. So it's like,
that's worth it.
It's literally already paying for itself, and there's a ton of games on top of that. So there's a lot of games to play on there, on my cell phone, telephone, and my tablet. And I don't know how many of those how many people are actually buying things on the thing. I don't fucking know. There's a lot to. I don't know. I mean, I know. I think what threw me for a loop was when, I don't know, 1 or 2 of these conferences ago, Apple had a Death Stranding on iPhone. I'm like, I don't know, you guys.
Yep, that's one of the ones too that came up in this article, I think. But yeah, and they're priced premiumly too. Is premiumly a word? It is now. Like, they're priced like almost $50 sometimes. Like, we talk about Square Tax and how they're charging like, $30 for like Dragon Quest VIII iOS or something, which is just ridiculous. But like, this is even more because AAA. So I have this article from mobilegamer.biz, and I'm just going to read a little bit of it. Apple has showcased several games, including Resident Evil 4, I assume Resident Evil 4 Remake, the last year's thing, Resident Evil Village, Death Stranding, and Assassin's Creed Mirage in its keynote over the last 12 months, all running on high-end iPhones and iPads. But even using the most optimistic revenue estimates, they're all commercial failures. This article also surmises that Apple is paying Ubisoft, Capcom, etc. to put the titles on there, which I totally buy. I don't think Capcom and stuff would do this themselves. I think Apple's saying, hey, please do this for us. This is a good, presentationally good thing. But mobilegamer.biz goes on. Our calculations based on App Figures estimates suggest that under 3,000 people have paid $49.99 to play Assassin's Creed Mirage on iPhone since it launched on June 6th. It has been downloaded approximately 123,000 times with gross revenue of $138K to date, says App Figures. But the game is only playable on iPhone 15 Pro, Pro Max, and high-end iPads, which means I can't play it. I have a 13 Pro Max. So even if I wanted to buy it, I couldn't even play it. 3,000 people, Steve? 3,000? I feel like even at your lowest estimate, you wouldn't have said 3,000.
Man, I don't know either. Well, it's only on the highest spec thing available, and they're charging at a premium. Andre, people don't want to pay for actual mobile games, and they haven't the whole time. What did I recently finish on my cell phone, telephone? I played Katana Zero. It's an indie game from however many years ago. It was included on my Netflix sub. That's why I pay. I wasn't going to pay $15 or whatever they charge for it on the Nintendo eShop for that. And who's going to pay a $60 download on their cell phone, telephone? Of however big that is to play Death Stranding.
Yeah, it just seems like that's what the cloud is for, right? That's what the Xbox Cloud or Nvidia Cloud and shit is for, I think. At that rate. Why would you buy? Look, I get it. I'm not really into this cloud shit as much as digital as I am, right? I'd still rather do downloads. And this just isn't it. I can give you some other figures. Yeah, this article says other big brand names, Resident Evil 4 Village, I just made them one game.
That'd be something.
Resident Evil 4 Village, fuck it, and Death Stranding, all showcased in Apple keynotes, have bombed too. 7,000 people have paid to unlock the full game in its 6 months on the market. Resident Evil 4, I'm speaking of. So 7,000 people have bought Resident Evil 4 Remake, we're assuming.
Yeah. I'll admit I'm not keeping up with the actual sales numbers of the actual hardware. How are the Pro phone and iPad sales?
They're good. Apple always sells a bunch.
I mean, I know they
never fall off. I mean, okay, fine. Okay, let's look that up. Hold, please. All right, so we found an article that was from the beginning of the year. So basically tracking phone sales through 2023, the end of 2023, which is when the iPhone 15 Pro Max and stuff came out. iPhone 15 Pro Max sold 33 million units before the beginning of 2024. So it's probably sold a lot more since then. So that's 33 million fucking phones. That's way more than I thought, actually.
And that's, I don't know if I would say that's really low, because we all know what mobile gaming people are like. We all like the stereotype, but most of them are still, what, Candy Crush and the other thing.
The other thing, Pokemon Go.
Well, no, that's what I play, but
okay, that's sophisticated. That's for big boys, not this Candy Crush.
I mean, you know, it's just I think it's just a hard sell overall. Like, it's great that you can get it running on there, but a game like that is a time commitment. Like, I remember back in 2017 during the Fire Emblem Direct. Remember when they did that shit and they showed off Heroes and the rest of the game? They're like, oh, Heroes look stupid. They should have put Shadows of Valentia on mobile. Like, that's a time commitment you might not want to stick onto your phone. Like, Heroes is the perfect that you can go in, you spend a few gems on the waifus and bathing suits if it's summertime, and you do a few maps and you're done. You might not have time to load up everything that a full-ass game has to do.
I love that the Fire Emblem, they turned that into waifus and hazabandos. I mean, it's just perfect. That is exactly what they should be doing. Did they still not have nipples, the dudes?
They a lot of them are creatively hidden with like a Hawaiian shirt draped just so.
Really? So they don't even like give you the opportunity to know if they have them? But I always thought that was weird about the shirtless Fire Emblem designs. It's like Mario can have nipples nowadays. I'm sure Ike can too.
It's weird. We've never seen Ike shirtless at all.
Really? You would think that would happen by now.
This whole time, there's been plenty of Ikes. None of them are without shirt.
That can't. Maybe they're saving. Maybe the mobile game is saving that for a big special occasion. Okay, we all know you wanted it. Here it is, finally.
Sleazy saxophone version of the Fire Emblem theme.
All right, I think we're out of topics. Sorry for the weird kind of structured show today, guys, but you know, it is a weird show to begin with, and you know, it's summer. We just have a bunch of little tidbits. It's kind of a lazy show, so forgive us. You know, it's hard to do games and stuff. I liked it. All their games are designed around 3 people. So I don't know. Maybe Steve, next time we can come up with something to embarrass each other about next time.
Oh, I'm sure we can come up with something between the two of us. If we can, you know, share the brain, right?
I thought you were going to say share the loofah.
That's for something else.
Okay. Well, we're going to get the fuck out of here. Follow us on Twitter at FineTime Podcast. Check the description of this podcast to find our names on Blue Sky. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
You've been listening to Fine Time.